Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Paula, and I am so excited to be here with you all. Welcome to the first GSA 101 presentation for GSA 2025. So, as everyone is coming in, if we could go ahead and drop some information in the chat, let us know your name and what county you're from. How's that sound? I will start. Chat's disabled. Oh no, let's figure that out right now. Okay, Anthony, try the chat now. Okay, hey Luke from Boone. Hey Crystalline from Hardin. Brianna from Harlan. Mason from Warren. Addison from Scott. Yes, okay. Everyone, I'm so happy that you all are here. So, as I said before, my name is Paula, and I am the Associate Director of the Governor's School for the Arts, GSA, and I am so happy that you all are here with us. So, before we get started, I am going to start a poll. So, this is a quick two-question poll, and that is just for us to learn a little bit more about you. So, I'm gonna start this poll in three, two, one. And we'll give it a few minutes and we'll wait for folks to respond. Okay, y'all. Almost there. We almost got everybody. Over here at GSA, we love full participation. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll, and then we're just gonna learn a little bit more about each other. Okay, so the first question on the poll was, what GSA art forms were you interested in? And it looks like we have a healthy amount of interdisciplinary collaborations happening here. Everyone seems to be interested in almost all the art forms. Ooh, instrumental music though. I see a lot of musicians here with us. We're very excited. Okay, and then the second question is which best describes you? If you watch this with another person, we want all the folks to answer. So, about 73% of you all are high school students in either 10th or 11th grade. So that means you all are eligible to apply for GSA. That is so exciting. And then of course, we have our parents and guardians who are always and forever the art advocates. So we appreciate you all so much. So I'm just gonna, can we all see the results? Yeah, okay. Thank you all so much for participating in the poll. So first things first, I have already introduced myself, but I am going to allow the rest of the GSA admin team to introduce themselves. So let's start with, oh, the first person I see with their camera on, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Paula. Hi, y'all. My name is Jessica Graham. I am the GSA Program Manager. I'm so excited you guys are joining us this evening. I am a drama alum of GSA. I'm from Muhlenberg County, which is in Western Kentucky, so representing. But I'm so excited to be with you all and happy to answer any and all questions y'all may have.
Amazing, amazing. Oh, there we go.
Hey GSA, my name is Dean Allen Muir. I am the alumni coordinator here at GSA. I am a 2005 musical theater alum, and I went to high school in Trimble County at the time that I went through the program. And I'm so excited for you all to be here, and I can't wait to cheer you on, and you're all going to be amazing.
Love.
I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Natalie. I am the GSA program coordinator. I am also a musical theater alum, just like Dean. I am from Louisville, Kentucky. I was attending Mercy Academy when I went to GSA. And I might have already met some of you all virtually through if you've ever emailed or called the program to chat or ask questions. So I just always like to say this: if you ever email us or you call us, you're talking to a real person, and you're probably talking to me or one of the other four people on this call. So excited to see what you all bring to the application process, and so excited to get to know you all too.
Thanks, Natalie.
And I guess that leaves me last. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Brooks. I serve as the director for the Governor's School for the Arts. It is so great to have everyone here this evening. We're so glad to have not only our young artists, but also our parents and guardians here with us. I am not a GSA alum, but I am connected to the arts by way of being a music educator for years, and then also a performer on the professional circuit in the orchestral world. I'm a French horn player by trade. So I am a proud member of, not member, but resident of Shelby County, right here in Kentucky. And I'm originally from Kansas.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I should probably talk about my alum status. Surprise, surprise, I don't have an alum status. I'm not a GSA alum, but I love it all the same. I am an artist though, and we're all artists on this Zoom. I am an actor, director, and a playwright. So all of us, we love to have our special connection to the arts, and GSA is one of the best ways that we can make sure that we are continuing to foster that connection. So with this presentation, you all, or with this webinar. So we're going to be going back and forth between having our cameras on and using a slideshow. So one thing to note is that we do have a Q&A feature. So if you have any questions, we will take time for questions at the end of the presentation. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to drop them in the Q&A box, because sometimes things can get a little lost in the chat. So I am going to share my screen and let's jump into this presentation. If you're ready to go, can I get a thumbs up in the chat? Love, I'm seeing all the thumbs ups. This is the best, the best. So welcome, welcome, welcome to GSA 101. You've already met members of the admin team. One thing about GSA is that we are a large community, but we are the 5 full-time admin members who keep things up and running. So those are our faces and our names if you're ever curious. So in this GSA 101, we're going to review what the Kentucky Governor's School for the Arts, or GSA, is all about. We will discuss what types of students we're looking for and provide an overview of the application process. Additional information sessions are going to be happening throughout the fall. So please note that this is not going to be the only one. And our website is always going to be the best place to find the information. It's www.kentuckygsa.org. And then our social media channels will also have updates as well. So today's session, as well as all of them, all of the future ones, are being live streamed on Facebook and recorded. So the recording will be made publicly available in the coming days. I've already talked about Q&A, so we know that. And If you are viewing this in real time via Zoom, excuse me, you will receive a survey after the presentation. So please, please complete that survey. It is really, really helpful for us to learn how our recruitment efforts are going. We want to make sure that they are as far-reaching as possible. So what is GSA? First things first, GSA is a community of artists empowering Kentucky's next generation of creative leaders. So the reason that you all likely know of GSA is because of the summer program. So the summer program is a 3-week residential program for high school age students. So residential meaning that you live on a college campus. And then our training is conservatory style training. So that means you are spending the full 3 weeks, the 21 days, fully immersed in your art form. Although you can only attend GSA for one art form, we do encourage interdisciplinary collaboration. It is a large part of the program. So that means that students are exposed and engaged with multiple art forms outside of their own. And we do have 9 different art forms. Let's learn about them. If my slideshow will work. There we go. So with our art forms, as I mentioned, there are 9 of them. So we have creative writing, dance, design, drama, film and photography, instrumental music, musical theater, visual art, and vocal music. So with the art forms, you can apply for up to 2 of them, but you can only attend for one. And it is a common question, so I will answer it now. You can only attend GSA once. So the class sizes with the art forms vary, and they are generally based off of the level of interest we have in our application pool. So the largest art form is instrumental music. So it takes about 50 students or so. Visual art is the next largest with about 40 students. And then from there, you can expect between 28 to 30 students per art form, with the exception of design and film and photo. They are our smaller art forms and take about 16 students per session. So as hopefully everyone knows, this year, we will have 2 sessions. Again, thanks to the expansion funding that we received from the Kentucky Department of Education in 2021. So with GSA being 2 sessions, all of the art forms take place at both sessions with the exception of design, which is only going to be at session 1, and then dance, which is only going to be at session 2. So if you're curious, because we only have dance in one session, we still have a large amount of dancers. So if you're like, oh, wait, is it only 10 dancers? No, we have 40 dancers. So best of all, GSA is provided at no cost to the students. We are tuition free, which means that we do not charge for any room or board or any like activity fees when it comes to attending the program. So being tuition free has been a large part of our mission since GSA was founded in 1987. So we are a partnership between the Commonwealth of Kentucky and Kentucky Performing Arts. Kentucky Performing Arts is a nonprofit here in Louisville with a statewide mission. It's formerly known as the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts, but that is, we like to say that's where GSA is housed at most of the time. So our admin offices are at Kentucky Performing Arts. Now, we say that things that we are tuition free. That is absolutely true. However, I do want to be transparent and say that there are application fees, which we will talk about a little further in the presentation. Any art form supplies that you will need, or things for your dorm room, any supplies for your dorm room, those are things that the student has to provide on their own. However, cost, money should never be a barrier at GSA, and it is our goal to make sure that we are doing our best every single season to make that be true. So if at any point during the application process you find yourself needing support as you think about, I don't know if I can afford these supplies, or I have a question about the application fee, please, please, please do not hesitate to contact us. As Natalie said, we are here for you. We're not scary adults. We love the work that we do, and we want to make sure that everyone feels like GSA is for them, because GSA is for everybody. So before we dive a little bit more into the summer program, we're going to talk about our GSA values and what's important to us. So at GSA, you are an artist and you are important. So what does that mean? That means that we believe that artists are vitally important to society. So if you're passionate about your art form, that means you are important. Your art is important. An artist makes vital contributions to our society. They innovate, problem solve, inspire. Artists spark empathy, joy, social dialogue, and human connection. GSA's role is to connect young artists to affirmation, empowerment, resources, and quality educational opportunities toward a future where they can be the best version of themselves. And we all know behind every artist is a vast network of support from educators, mentors, family, and friends. So if you're watching this and you're a guardian or a teacher or just a cheerleader for a young artist in your life, GSA is here for you too. Your support and mentorship of young artists is vitally important. We would not be here without you. So thank you for being an arts hero. So in all things GSA, you can expect to encounter the following values. GSA is uplifting. We believe each of us is capable and deserving of a bright and abundant future. GSA is open and communicative. We celebrate the differences between us and seek out the commonalities we might not have realized we share. GSA is community. We live, learn, and grow together as many individuals contributing to something greater than the sum of our parts. GSA is trust and integrity, because without accountability and offering our commitments to each other, we can't access the next three values: authenticity, vulnerability, and resilience. At GSA, we dare to be our true and best selves, embracing our quirks, growing and learning together, courageously sharing our unique voices with the world, and celebrating each person's worth. Now, you can't have GSA without Kentucky love. With students coming from all corners of the Commonwealth, we discover the cultural richness of our state and develop our roles in creating the future we want for our home. And of course, GSA is all about creativity and innovation. I mean, after all, we are artists. We flip the script, we pivot, we design a brighter tomorrow, and we bring color to everyday life. So you're probably wondering, okay, this sounds great. We know what you all value at GSA, but what type of students are you looking for? So first things first, to be eligible to apply to next summer's program, you must be a high school sophomore or junior in Kentucky. And if you're watching this and you're not old enough to apply yet, keep watching. You can start preparing yourself to be a competitive GSA applicant years in advance. So it should come to no surprise that GSA is also looking for students who exhibit skill in their art form. We want to ensure that every student is up for the challenge of an intense 3-week experience in their discipline. However, please, please, please do not be discouraged if you don't have a lot of formal training or you feel like you might not measure up to the other young artists in the state for one reason or the other. As much as we are looking for artistic skill, we are also looking for artistic potential. Plus, the only way you can guarantee that you won't get into GSA is by not applying. The GSA application process is designed to help you prepare for your future opportunities like college applications. So it's a learning process, a learning experience no matter what. And remember, everyone at GSA, including the adjudicators who score the applications, are cheering you on. We want you to do well, and we recognize the ambition and the courage it takes to just submit an application. So please, go ahead and put yourself out there. We're rooting for you. Equally important at GSA is that we like students who are passionate in their art form. We aren't just interested in what you create. We want to know why you create it. Think about why you want to accomplish something through creativity. Do you want to make people smile? Do you want to spark change? At GSA Summer Program, we live, sleep, breathe, and eat art. We are looking for students who exhibit the level of passion and motivation it takes to dive into an opportunity like this one. We're also looking for students who exhibit an ability to collaborate with an open mind. GSA Summer Program is a diverse group of Kentuckians from all different identities, perspectives, walks of life. And students are expected to not only live with people who are different, but also create with them as well. So together, as a community, we co-create a powerful, powerful experience that is larger than, but dependent on our individual contributions. We also want students who are eager to learn, who are eager to be challenged by new methods, ideas, concepts. So we're looking for students who are excited to keep growing. Now, we do know that sometimes it can be uncomfortable to be challenged, but that's where the trust and support of GSA come into play. We all learn and grow together. And it's also worth emphasizing that GSA seeks and welcomes applicants of all backgrounds and identities. This means we seek young artists from across the continuum of and at the intersections of race, gender identity, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, hometown setting, mental and physical health or ability, language, religious belief, political leaning, or cultural background. Translations of our materials are available upon request. And while the GSA application is online, students without access to reliable internet can contact us via phone, and we can discuss how to accommodate their application regardless. All in all, we seek a student body that represents the richly diverse life experiences and perspectives of Kentucky, because a very profound way for all of us to grow is to learn from the people who are different than us. So let's dig a little bit into the summer program. What is it like? How do you spend your day? Do you actually have to do your own laundry? Spoiler alert, you do have to do your own laundry. So at the summer program, I like to think about it as two core components. You have the classroom, classroom and classroom time, which we call studio. And then you have the life outside of studio in the dorms, aka the residential life. So let's start a little bit about what studio's like. So on the second day of the program, we hit the ground running. Each day starts with breakfast that is provided by our host campus, and you'll learn who they are in a bit. After breakfast, every student has to be at roll call at 8:45 a.m. Then from roll call, we go to our all-school morning presentation. That presentation can sometimes be a full-fledged performance by an amazing jazz musician, or this past summer, it was really cool. We had someone who just performed on the Tonys and then came and did an all-school presentation. So it can really, really, really run the gamut in terms of what the presentation is. The morning presentations are a great way to learn from different artists outside of your discipline. So after the all-school presentation, we have morning studio. That is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, studio time can look a little different depending on what the art form is. So some art forms you might have classes and workshops and rehearsals. Other art forms you might have demonstrations, field trips, independent work time. It really just depends. You will also receive personalized training from a variety of experts in your field. This means that you can develop mentorships that will last a lifetime. So then after studio, we head to lunch. Lunch is one of the best times of the day because you get to see all your friends that you haven't seen since morning presentation, and you fill them in on what your day has been like. So then after morning studio and lunch, we then go into afternoon studio. So after that afternoon studio block, there is dinner. And then the evenings can look a little different. So you'll see on the screen, it says studio, performance, res life activities. Now, do not be overwhelmed. We're not doing all three of those things every single night. Those are the options. And options depending on the schedule, not options as in you all get to choose. Sorry, we have to make we make the schedules. But some nights you're gonna have an extra studio session. Some nights there might be an all-school performance that is a bit more like it's a bit more higher produced, like last session, excuse me, this past summer, we had a performance from Step Africa. It was this amazing, amazing dance performance. Or there's going to be some res life activities. All in all, that is kind of what the evening looks like. And then bed checks are at 11:30 p.m. So you're probably thinking between 10 p.m. and 11:30, what happens? What do I do? So that tends to be free time. So students can go to bed early if they want to, or they can socialize in the residence hall. But we do have to be mindful of our volume because, some folks might want to go to sleep. But again, as I mentioned, bed checks are at 11:30. Days at GSA are longer than normal school days and they can be intense. So I'm going to say that just one more time. Days at GSA are longer than normal school days. So while GSA takes place 7 days a week, we start 2 hours later on Saturdays. Students have free time on Sundays until there's afternoon studio. However, depending on the program needs, there may be activities that students have to do on the weekend. We like to not do that. We want to really honor the free time, but we just have to say that, well, not just, but we want to say that to cover our bases. So on Sundays, we provide transportation to nearby houses of worship. This becomes arranged with the GSA staff. And then there are only 2 days where we do not have studio. One of these days is typically the all-school field trip. And then the other day is a student-free day that has a lot of activities that are planned by the residential life staff. But if you find yourself on that day saying, hey, I just need to relax in my room, you can do that as well. Now, back in the dorm, the res life side. GSA has a rich and robust residential life program. Each student is assigned to a residential advisor, or RA for short. You can think of the RA as sort of like your GSA parent. They also live in the dorms with you and they serve as mentors who support your ability to have a successful and fun GSA experience. So each student is a member of their RA's group, and that is going to be students who are from different art forms from various parts of the state. So as we think about RA groups, it's also important to mention the roommates. So every student has a roommate, and your roommate is going to be someone from a different county or from a different county and from a different art form. We have it this way because we want to make sure that everyone is taking the chance to learn about different students and to build other relationships. Sometimes the friendships that you make at GSA last a lifetime. I mean, after all, like it's like everyday life at home. Excuse me, after all, in our everyday life at home, being an artist can often set us apart from others, but at GSA, we all have this in common, and this creates a special, special bond. So, like I said, you do have to do your laundry, spoiler alert. But laundry is something that everyone, if you need to pour on your RAs, are always more than helpful to show you how to work the machine. So don't be worried if you've never done your own laundry before. I do want to point out the GSA cell phone policy. Students are not allowed to take their take their cell phones outside of their floors. So if you live on the fourth floor, your cell phone is not allowed to leave the fourth floor. And you're probably like, well, oh my goodness, what happens if there's an emergency? You are surrounded by adults who have cell phones, and we can always make sure that you're taken care of. Now, there could be an exception to that. If you have a faculty member, let's say you're in vocal music, and your faculty want you to record, that is an exception. All exceptions to the cell phone policy are things that the students will know going into it and that we thoroughly cover during the first few days of the program. So it's not all doom and gloom. On the residential life end, we do have a variety of games from board games. Um, I think this year we have like a giant, oh gosh, I'm forgetting the words. We have like a giant Connect Four. There's a pool table. There's a lot of cool stuff to do. And if you're not too into the games, we also have crafts as well. So bracelet making was really popular this past summer. There's also Coffee House. So Coffee House you can think of as a GSA talent show. We have 2 to 3 coffee houses per session, and this is a space for the students to showcase their art. And let's say that you are a visual artist, but you also are a piano player. That might be the space for you at Coffee House. In addition to Coffee House, there's things like Spirit Week. And then at the end of Spirit Week, we cap it off with the all school dance. Um, and as we mentioned, the student free day, that is a part of Spirit Week as well. And then we have the all school field trip. So again, there are lots of amazing things to do at Res Life. However, we understand sometimes you just need a lazy day. So don't feel like you have to always hang out every single night. The University of Kentucky, that is our host campus. So our summer program takes place there in Lexington. Students live in Holmes Hall. This is the UK Fine Arts Residential Hall that features not only a state-of-the-art living space, but also a dance studio, a writing lab, an art studio, and practice rooms. Each student is assigned their room with a roommate from, as I mentioned, a different art form in different county. The room layouts are what we call suite style. So everyone gets their own room, but you have to share a bathroom. If you're curious about what that looks like, you can go to UK's website to learn more. And then one thing to note is that the floors are assigned by gender, and we house on the binary. So that means we have floors for folks who are assigned females at birth and also assigned males at birth. However, if you are non-binary or transgender, we ensure that we work to ensure that you have a customized housing situation that is comfortable for you. That is, when we say contact us, that is one of the biggest things. You let us know and we will make sure that you're taken care of. So beyond Holmes Hall, the students experience a wide array of stunning facilities at UK, including Meals and Champions Kitchen, which is located in the Student Center, as well as the School of Art and Visual Studies, aka SAVS. That's where we do visual art. And then there's the Singletary for the Arts, the Fine Arts Building, and the Schmidt Vocal Arts Center. So, we spend a lot of time on campus, and that means that we do have a high code of conduct that you will learn about prior to the summer program. GSA is an experience that everyone benefits from, and so we want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to have the best time and experience all parts of campus. And the only way we can make sure that happens successfully is if we're all behaving accordingly. And both of our sessions will take place on UK's campus this year. So, final day. On the final day of the program, family, friends are invited back to campus for a day of creative celebration. All students showcase their work in some form or fashion. The day is full of performances, readings, gallery exhibitions, and then we conclude with a lovely graduation ceremony. And then everyone heads home, gets some well-deserved rest. But the GSA experience doesn't end after the summer program. GSA has a lifelong commitment to our alums, supporting them toward a quality and accessible college experience and championing them as creative citizens for decades to come. GSA alums receive access to scholarships at nearly 30 colleges and universities across the country. A full listing can be found on our website. GSA alums also receive significant college and career coaching by way of the College Fair during the summer program, which is an exclusive way to meet college reps, and at our annual College and Career Day event in the fall. Alum are also eligible to apply for GSA's Toyota Alumni Fund grant, which provides $5,000 a year, excuse me, $5,000 a year in grant funding to support alumni artistic development. And of course, students are connected to nearly 8,000, and I should say 8,500 because we have 500 alums we have 500 students become alums. So again, you are connected to 8,500 other GSA alums who are creating exciting work in a variety of fields across the globe. So everything that you need to know about GSA can be found on our website, www.kentuckygsa.org. It's important to note that our website is embedded with the larger site for Kentucky Performing Arts, which manages all of the performing arts spaces in Louisville. So that means if you accidentally click a link that takes you to a page about a show or tickets, just go back to the previous page or go ahead and put in our homepage address on the URL. So on that website, you will find lots of important information. Something I'm going to highlight in particular is the applicant guide. So for each of our 9 art forms, we have an applicant guide. And we cannot emphasize enough that it is so, so, so important for you to read the applicant guide page by page, step by step, before you start your application, and also consult it throughout the application process. So if you go on our website right now, you will see last year's applicant guides, but don't worry, you won't see them for long because on October 4th, our applicant guides for GSA 2025 are going to be released. However, it's still more than appropriate to go and look at the ones from last year just to kind of see what you're dealing with. The applicant guide should be your one-stop shop for all the information you will need during the application process. The applicant guide includes a description of the programs, curriculum, during the summer, an overview of what you need to submit, an overview of what you will be asked if you advance to the final round, criteria for the application that you're going to be scored upon, and a list of tips from the adjudicators. Now, if you have any lingering questions after reading the applicant guide, contact GSA with your questions, and we will be providing our contact information at the end of the webinar. Along with the applicant guides, this year, we will also be releasing an application walkthrough video that will show you how to complete a GSA application. And if you're a little nervous about approaching the applicant guide, we're going to have a short walkthrough video for that as well. So in that video, we're going to take an applicant guide and kind of highlight for you, this is what each section of the guide means, and this is how you can use it. The third thing that I will say is, if possible, attend an art form specific webinar for whichever art forms you're interested in. And if you can't attend the webinar, please know that they're all going to be posted online. So, big picture highlights about the application process. Every applicant must complete an online application to be considered for GSA 2025. But as we mentioned earlier, students who do not have reliable internet access should contact us via phone so we can work on getting some accommodations. The entire application process from start to finish is 2 rounds. The first round is completely virtual and will be considered, and everyone who completes the application will be considered in the first round. Then applicants who are invited to move forward will participate in the second and final round of auditions and reviews. This gives them the distinction of being labeled a GSA finalist. Now, for the final round, the auditions and reviews, some of them will be in person and some of them will be online. And that just depends on your art form. That information is located in the applicant guide. The GSA class is selected from those GSA finalists, aka the applicants who advanced to the second round. So a few things to note. GSA will never ask for your GPA, SAT, or ACT score. While we know these are used commonly throughout the student process and throughout college applications, we seek other means to learn if you are a perfect fit for our program. And as I mentioned before, you can apply for up to 2 art forms. As we know, a lot of artists are interdisciplinary. Instrumentalists, if you apply on 2 different instruments, that does count as your 2 art forms, and you would not be able to submit a third application in a different art form. There is a $35 application fee collected just before submitting your application, and there is an additional $15 fee if you apply in an additional art form. However, students who are on free or reduced lunch can have this application fee waived by just clicking the button in the application, no questions asked. And while we seek a diverse student body from across the entire state, there are no demographic acceptance quotas for GSA. This means we don't accept a certain number of students from each county or high school, nor do we seek specific quotas for gender, race, age, grade, in school, none of that. In lieu of quotas, GSA adjudicators review each applicant in the context of their artistic abilities, their potential, their access to resources, and the identities and perspectives they have to offer. Ultimately, choosing a GSA class that is prepared for the summer program experience and represents a vast array of Kentuckian experiences. So hopefully you all are full aware that GSA is one of 3 awesome Governor Schools programs in Kentucky. The other 2 are the Governor Scholars Program, GSP, and the Governor School for Entrepreneurs, GSE. Both GSP and GSE are amazing programs. And while we are all residential summer programs for talented high schoolers, our application processes are very different. A lot of people are especially familiar with GSP's application process because it significantly relies on student involvement, significantly relies on the involvement of a student's high school. So taking a note to that, GSA's process has less formal involvement from an applicant school than GSP's. And a student can apply to GSA without any type of approval from their schools. Schools do not need to nominate students for GSA. And while we encourage students to consult with their teachers and counselors during the application process, it's possible their role in the application will be limited to the recommendation forms, which we will discuss here in a bit. So as you go through the applicant guide, you're going to learn what each applicant has to submit for the application. So the application opens on October 4th, and then it is due on January 12th. So you can start and stop your application as much as you please. Just be sure that you are saving your work along the way. So when you go to GSA's website, you're going to see a button that says Apply Now. That button will take you to GSA's application portal, which is called Accepted. It is a separate website. You will create a profile in Accepted, and then you're going to proceed with your application. So while the GSA team is here to answer your questions about the application when it comes to the content of it, Accepted has their own technology support team that can help you if you're experiencing any type of glitches. You know, technology can sometimes be not kind to us. On a quick note, accepted is not misspelled on this slide. The final E is missing, and that is how the platform has chosen to spell their name. It's kind of cute. Accepted is also used for applications at various collegiate arts programs. So this may not be your first time and definitely not your last time using Accepted. Students are going to be asked some basic demographic and contact information, and then we'll be asked to identify two recommenders. Applicants provide contact information for each recommender and then accepted emails each recommender an online form to fill out. You never have to submit a letter of recommendation or turn anything in on behalf of your recommenders. And we strongly encourage we strongly encourage you to reach out to your recommenders before you submit them, and let them know the timeline that you're on. Let them know that they need to complete that form before January 12th. Both recommenders will complete the same form. And in that form, we ask about your artistic abilities, potential, and how you contribute to a learning environment and your community. And then we learn about your overall character and fit for GSA. If you have mentors or teachers who know your artistic work, they might probably be the best people to complete these forms. But if you don't, do not worry. Simply choose someone who knows you as a student or as a contributing member of a group or organization, like a club, a youth group, sports teams. Your recommenders can be teachers from inside the school or outside of school, mentors, community leaders, school administrators. Their job title matters less, and their ability to speak to your strengths matter more. Be sure to contact your recommenders, like I said, in advance, so they know to be looking out for your recommendation. And so you can tell them why you deserve a glowing recommendation. So next, students across all 9 art forms will respond to 2 essay prompts. One response will be written, and the other will be a video response. And with those responses, after those responses, students also have some art form specific questions about their experience and their interest in the area. From there, the students are prompted to submit images, videos, documents specific to that art form's requirements. Again, carefully review the applicant guide to know what is required for your art form. For some art forms, this will be as simple as 1 or 2 uploads. For other art forms, you'll need to create multiple short videos. Give yourself plenty of time to gather materials by reading the applicant guide as soon as possible. And remember, we're super excited to see your artwork and review your application. We know it can be a little intimidating to submit your work for scoring and judging, but know that we want you to do well, and we'll be impressed with the ambition, discipline, and courage you've exhibited by just applying and submitting an application in the first place. So the application timeline. As we begin to wrap up today's presentation, I want to point out some important dates for GSA applicants. So after today's webinar, we will be having a lot more of them. So our GSA 101 webinars, the dates are as follows. And again, all of these will be posted online, posted online after we have them. And they're also going to be live streamed on Facebook. That's exciting too. The art form webinars, those are TBA. We will be having them. I just do not have the complete schedule right now. So after today's webinar, the next important day is October 4th. That is going to be when the application portal opens. That is going to be when the applicant guides are released. And that'll be when you can review the application walkthrough video and the applicant guide review video. And then, of course, we're going to be hosting more webinars. If you have a friend who wanted to come to today's webinar, but they were unable to make it, please encourage them to come to our next GSA 101 on November 6th. Remember, the webinars are not the only way to get your questions answered. You can also email us or call us. So the GSA 2025 application is due by end of day, January 12th. So I want to note that that is a Sunday, and the GSA office is not staffed on the weekends. So that means that January 10th, which is that Friday, is going to be the last day to call or email us with your questions. Do not wait until the last minute to upload your application if at all possible. The application system can sometimes run slowly as a lot of people are trying to submit in the last few days. So do yourself a favor and get your application in nice and early. We recommend completing your application at least 1 week in advance of the January 12th deadline. So students will learn if they've advanced to the second and final round on January 14th, which is about a month or so before our final round auditions and reviews that take place on March 21st and 22nd. GSA's final round auditions will be hybrid. That means, again, some will be virtual and some will be in person at the University of Kentucky. Full details are going to be in each of the applicant guides. We will announce the GSA class of 2025, as well as our alternates who are placed on the wait list on April 11th. And then finally, the dates for GSA 2025. Session 1 is going to be June 8th through June 28th. And then Session 2 is going to be July 6th through July 26th. As the students are learning if they were accepted into GSA, they also learn about which session they're going to be attending. Students are assigned the session that they attend, and we definitely, if you move to the final round, you see information about, can you attend one session or the other, if you have any conflicts, so on and so forth. So though most art forms will take place in both sessions, I want to make sure to reiterate that design is only going to be in session 1 and dance is only going to be in session 2. So final tips. What else can you do right now to prepare yourself for apply to GSA? Well, hopefully these tips are going to be helpful. The biggest thing is to dive into your art form every chance you get. That can be taking another class, practicing, sketching, writing at home, or even just researching the work of other artists. Learn and experience as much as you can, even if it's just on YouTube, and form opinions about what you've seen. Why do you like something? Why do you not like a piece of art? How do you see GSA's criteria at work in other artists? Who are some artists that you admire? Second, reflect on why you like engaging in the arts and what kind of artist you want to be. Then get comfortable talking to your art, talking about your art to other people. We know it can sometimes be a little scary, but it is always, always, always so comforting when you are able to articulate why you care about your art so much. And you've got nothing to lose. Chat with your family and friends about your art form. Let them know your dreams for your artistic future and how you want to grow. Maybe even ask them if they have any creative interests. It can be like cooking or crafting. It's a great way to prepare for the application process and a wonderful way to deepen relationships. Oh, I'm like going fast through slides. I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh, one more. There we go. So throughout all of this, we want you all to remember that GSA is a wonderful program, but is not the end all be all. We do not get to determine, we on admin do not get to determine if you are a good artist or not, or if you have a future in the arts. The GSA application process is highly competitive. We see between 12 and 1,400 applicants for only 512 spots, but I don't want you to let that hold you back. We hope that you'll apply because you believe that you deserve the opportunity, an opportunity like this. And ultimately, if you aren't accepted into the program, our hope is that you feel proud of yourself for putting yourself out there and that you feel determined and prepared for other opportunities. We want you to remember that you are an artist and no one, including GSA, can take that away from you. Always remember, you are enough. You are important, you are an artist, and most importantly, your potential is limitless. Again, I'll say it like a broken record, GSA admin is here for you. We are here to answer your questions and support your ability to put your best foot forward. You can contact GSA with any kind of questions at our, this is our phone number. It's 502-566-5192. We are in our offices typically Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you don't get a hold of someone, that's okay. Leave a message. We will get back to you. We are not scary adults. We love, love, love chatting with applicants. It is our pleasure. It is our job, and we want to be able to help you all out. So if that means you need to email us, please do. We typically have a 24 to 48 hour turnaround on emails. So sometimes things can be a little busy here. So if you don't get a response from us, know that you will. We're also on the social networks. You can find us on Facebook, typing in the Kentucky Governor's School for the Arts. We are also on Instagram, and our Instagram handle is at KYGSA. So I have to ask you all, do you have any questions? That was of course a rhetorical question. So I am going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, so it is Q&A time. Do we have some questions? I think I see, oh, let me,
We do, we do. We do have some
amazing.
questions. So we have a couple that I wanted to share with everybody. So Mason asked, is there anyone specific that we have to use for our letters of recommendations? So for example, like a band director. So in the past, prior GSA application cycles, we did require that you have at least one school administrator as a recommender. We no longer have that requirement. So there is not a specific person that needs to fill out your application or your recommendation forms. But if you're applying for instrumental music, your band director could be a great person to fill out your recommendation forms. We generally want them to be adults who are not directly related to you. That is the only requirement, actually. They have to be an adult and they have to be not directly related to you. So your mom and your dad think you are amazing, but they cannot serve as your GSA recommenders. But anybody that can kind of speak to your kind of artistic experience, where you're at, even if you don't have somebody who can speak directly to your artistic experience, it's always helpful to hear from people who kind of know how you work in a group and know, what kind of leader you are, that kind of thing. So teachers are great, counselors, band directors, private teachers, not even just your teachers at school, but it could even be like a supervisor at a job that you have, or a youth group leader, or anything like that. So that is that on recommenders. We also had a question about what the application fee being waived for free and reduced lunch means. So we do charge an application fee. It is $35 for one art form. Two that's due at the very end of the application. It's the last thing you do before it will fully submit. We do waive those fees for anybody that qualifies for free or reduced lunch at school. So that is a program that's offered through the state. So you do have to meet kind of like a threshold of financial need. Most people that qualify for free or reduced lunch know that they're on free and reduced lunch. So if anybody has any questions about that, they can reach directly out to us as well. It just waives that fee, so you don't pay the application fee.
And one thing I'll note about free and reduced lunch, you do have some districts where the entire school is on free and reduced lunch. So if that is your situation, then that works as well. I see a question. How many people for each instrument will be admitted for orchestra / piano? Thank you so much for that question. So, our not visual art, Lord, our instrumental music program is a little different. So they don't build the orchestra they built the orchestra based on the applicants. So there is not a set number based on like what happened last year. They wait to see the applicant pool and then they go, okay, this is how many people we're gonna have here. This is how many people we're gonna have there. two very quick things I'm seeing in questions that you all answered that I wanted to point out. Students do not have to bring money for washers and dryers. That is free. And then with the dorm, make sure I say this. Bathrooms are shared between only the people who are sharing those rooms. So only between two people, not like 4 or 5. That's a lot. I don't know, I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had communal bathrooms when I was at GSA and when I was in college. So it was like the whole floor sharing. These are pretty nice. It's a 2-bedroom suite. You each have your own bedroom and then you only share a bathroom with your roommate, which is like so wonderful and so nice.
Yes.
Yeah, in instrumental music, it's based on chamber music as opposed to like a formal orchestra where it's like first chair, second chair, that kind of thing. So they build the chamber groups off of the applicant pool. We also had a question about if you're a junior and apply this year and don't make it, if you would be able to apply again next year. Unfortunately, if you are a junior, this is your last year to apply. So we accept applications from current sophomores and current juniors. So if you are a junior this year and you apply and you don't make it in, unfortunately, you aren't able to apply again next year, but just do your best, put your best foot forward, and maybe this year is your year. We also had a question about what vocal music genres you have, specifically wondering about music in other languages. So vocal music is based more on classical music, choral selections. Oftentimes they will sometimes mix in like jazz standards, things like that. But they do, most of our vocal music students they will often walk away with a song in another language. So just as an introduction to it, I know we'll often hear a lot of Italian and things like that. It's not anything that is like straight up required to sing in another language. You already have to know how to do to get into the program. So our vocal music faculty are wonderful. They have a very wide variety of experience with young singers, and so they will often give those pieces to students at the program, but it's not required for the application. Also very much encourage you to attend the vocal music art form webinar. Dr. Brittany Benningfield is absolutely wonderful and is happy to go through some more specifics with you on that. Will we get lists that tell us what we need to bring for our dorms? Yes, you will receive an entire acceptance packet after you are accepted to the program, including dorm needs. So a lot of those will be in there. And those are more general. So if you have like a stuffy that you just can't sleep without, know that that's implied in that list. But we'll talk about what you need to bring in terms of bedding, getting prepared for the bathroom, things like that, making sure that you're living cleanly and safely.
Amazing. So, a question is, are the roommates going to be assigned randomly when we get there, or will we know beforehand? So, we will be assigning them, but you will not know who they are until you get to the summer program. And again, we're assigning roommates based off the two facets that we like it to be someone who is from a different art form in a different county. And then when attending, this is a great question, Briar. When attending studio, do we study the only art form we are there for throughout the entire day? So yes, that is what conservatory style training is like. So you would be studying, like if you were there for vocal music, you would be only studying vocal music throughout the day. However, if there is like a collaboration with another art form, like drama and instrumental music, they collaborate together. So sometimes you might learn some things about instrumental music if you're a drama student just through collaboration. But as far as having like undivided studio time, all of that is just for your art form.
You do get the opportunity to experience other art forms through a little program that we call SMORGS, which is super fun. I'm actually kind of the lead on those. So they are just kind of short classes that happen twice throughout your time at GSA where you get to experience another art form. So I do want to throw that out there just because that is one of my favorite things about GSA's SMORGS. So we did get another question. Will sessions be assigned randomly? They are not necessarily random. So if you are selected to move on to that second and final round of adjudication, so if you're named as a finalist, you will get the opportunity to submit a session request if you have one. You can also let the adjudicators know that both sessions work for you if they do. You can also list a reason for that request. So that is, they will use that when they're assigning sessions. They really do their best to, honor those requests whenever possible. But they're not necessarily random. You do have the opportunity to request. If you do say that you're available for both, though, it will kind of be a toss up. It just depends on where they can, fit in the requests and then fit in the people who are fine with both.
So, what usually happens during studio hours? That's an excellent question. That really depends on the art form. So, I'll give an example. With vocal music, sometimes their studio sessions start with the entire choir on stage working through a choral piece. And then they are going to have voice lessons. Then they might have a master class with someone who works in the field. But that is what happens in vocal music. Now, film and photography is completely different. They are going to be going on field trips because they have to get their content. So they're going to be going to Keeneland, or they might be going to the state fair to get video footage. So it really, really just depends on the studio itself. But in the art form specific webinars, we talk a lot about that. I see just two more I want to quickly address. What if your art form doesn't fit in the categories taught? Instead of modern dance, more hip hop / self-taught. So, I still encourage you to apply. So with our dance program, and this is in the applicant guide, the dance program has about 4 pillars. So there is ballet, there's modern, oh gosh, dances of the African diaspora. And then the 4th pillar is
Improv and choreography.
thank you. So, even if you are just there for like, even if you're like, okay, ballet is my jam, I don't really know about the rest of this, that's okay. Like, we still want you to apply, and you will learn about the other art forms. So, about the other styles. You don't have to be perfect in every single style. And then are all disciplines available in both sessions? No. Oh, sorry, Natalie, I just saw that. No, they're not available in both sessions. All disciplines, so in session 1, it will be every discipline. Actually, let me back up. Let me phrase it a different way. Dance is only offered in session 2. Design is only offered in session 1. So if you are applying for any of the other art forms, both sessions are, the world is your oyster. You can like say you want to go to both sessions or one or the other. But if you're applying for design, you would be going to session 1. And if you were applying in dance, you would be going to session 2. Sorry if y'all can, it's like nonsense outside of my window. Sorry.
Good. Just a couple more questions and then we'll wrap up. If you have questions past this webinar, please feel free to send them to us via email, or feel free to call us anytime via the contact information provided. So if accepted, do we receive a list of supplies needed for the art form? Yes, you do. So you'll receive kind of a general packing list that's more like dormy things, and like how many pairs of shorts do you need to bring, how, all this kind of stuff. And then you will also receive an art form specific, we call them discipline letters. And so it kind of gives you an introduction to your faculty. And then it also will list any art form specific supplies that you need to bring. If you get chosen as an alternate, when will you know if you get to attend GSA or not? So it's a bit of a complicated answer because it kind of fluctuates. So we'll have the full class announcement. We'll announce the class and the alternates in mid-April. It is on April the 11th this year. After that, every accepted student has to either accept or decline their spot at GSA. So a lot of times what will happen is in like late April or early May, we will get the declinations for the students who were originally accepted, and then we'll pull up alternates to fill those spots. Sometimes we will get a last minute declination in mid or late May, and we might pull up an alternate for that. So there's not a hard and fast deadline for that necessarily. However, like I was an alternate when I attended GSA. I actually got the call on my birthday on May 7th. So if that kind of gives you an idea of the timeline, there's no, like I said, no hard and fast cutoff, but generally it is about like early, mid, and sometimes even into late May. That's normally when we have the list kind of finalized. Let's see. Oh,
So the
Paula, you
last
were
three
muted.
questions.
Yep.
The last three questions are more so talking about what the art form itself has. So I see one about musical theater, about film and photo and visual art. And I will say the best way to tackle those questions is I will refer you to the applicant guides because they're going to have all of that information and they're going to have it in a way that is way more concise than what we can say because we're artists in our own right, but it's a lot of information to remember. So I will point you in the direction of the applicant guides.
Which will be released on October the 4th. So keep an eye out for those. And then if you have any questions after they're released, then email us or call us and let us know. Last question, are we required to pay for meals and snacks while on campus? Nope. All of your meals, 3 square meals a day, are covered by GSA. It is part of our tuition-free program. If you want to bring a little bit of money, maybe you want to DoorDash a little something after you get back from studio, or if you want to bring snacks with you, you are certainly welcome to do so to keep in your dorm. However, your breakfast, lunch, and dinner are covered by GSA always.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Well, y'all, I think our time has come to an end in this webinar. I am so grateful that you all joined us to learn more about GSA. This is our first webinar of the season, and if you can't tell, we are all very excited. It's nice to be able to start this process over again, and we can't wait to get to know you all, get to learn about your art, and I know we're going to see some of you all during the summer program. So this is just the beginning. As a reminder, we are here for you. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us via email or via our helpline, and we will answer any questions you have. As a reminder, the applicant guides, the application portal, all that amazing stuff is going to be launching on October 4th. But if you're like, hey, I just want to see the applicant, just want to see something, you can look at the applicant guides from last year, which are on the website. Highly encourage that if you're curious and you want to get a head start. But unless the rest of our team has anything else, I think we're going to call it a night. All righty, everyone. Please don't forget to complete the survey. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing those applications. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.